Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video I'm talking about what it means to have Venus opposite to Mars in Synastry. So this one is kind of a fun one. I like this one. I don't interpret it as negative as maybe some other astrologers would. I think this aspect really goes with the saying of opposites attract, and depending on the personalities, that can be a very, very good thing. So, with this aspect, there is quite a buzz, pretty strong physical sexual attraction, specifically coming from Mars first, maybe, where Mars can really see Venus as like the prey that they have to have. Like, there's a really strong sexual response there. And if the Mars person is comfortable in being the initiator or the masculine principle, that's when this relationship is going to work the best. So some astrologers say that it works best when the woman is Venus. Now, I don't really think it has to be like that because, all women, all men have feminine and masculine energy within. So, as long as the Mars person is comfortable being the leader and being like the initiator, it doesn't matter, which sex is what, or whatever you identify as or whatever, right? It's like, as long as Mars is comfortable being Mars and acting upon Venus, then this is going to work really well. And as long as Venus is comfortable with Mars being the pursuer and being the aggressor, then this is going to work and be really sexy. Now, when it's not going to work so well is if someone is not comfortable with either of those roles, then it's not that we're incompatible, it's just that this relationship doesn't happen. See, it's different than like Venus and Mars in conjunction, where it's just like we're together and it's like quick to get together and we're, in bed together or whatever. We're in a relationship and it's love at first sight. Or the trine of the sextile, where it's just a really easy flow of give and take, and it's really natural. Maybe we don't jump into bed as quickly because it's not this crazy thing with the trine or the sextile, but there's a compatibility there. With the opposition, it's more like at one time, one person has to be initiating while the other person submits. So it really brings in the energy of like polarity and like, one person taking while the other person's giving. And so it can work really well when we're comfortable with that exchange going on. So, not everybody will be, right? So, a relationship won't happen with this aspect all of the time. But it can happen, and it definitely does create a buzz, and it creates that feeling of attraction based upon how we're different, rather than how we're similar. Although, at the same time, with it being the opposition, um, we can really feel like we've met our match here. We can really feel like we've met someone that balances us out. And Mars is going to really feel that Venus has a softness to them, and their lovingness, their heart, their feminine energy. And even if Venus is a male, Mars feels like Venus is soothing to their soul. And if other contacts are compatible, Mars really wants Venus and is really easily sexually turned on by Venus. And Venus feels like Mars is like the yang to their yin, and vice versa, going the other way. Mars feels that way. So, yeah, and Venus can feel like with the help of Mars, they can get what they want, whatever that is. So, there is a lot of attraction. It can be a more selfish attraction, similarly to the square of Venus and Mars, but a little bit different in that usually it's just one person being selfish at once. So it alternates. But Venus can get their eyes on Mars and think, this Mars person, they're so aggressive, or they're so manly, or they're so rugged, or whatever. Like, they can really help me with whatever their Venus is wanting on some level, because really opposite signs have a lot to teach each other. And when someone is making an opposition to your Venus with whatever planet it is, but specifically Mars, there is this feeling of like, they can give me what I want. Okay, so that, and a lot of people don't talk about how Venus is kind of a selfish energy, and so is Mars. Venus is not like Neptune or something. Like Venus, Aphrodite, like they have their own agenda, and like it's the pursuit of pleasure and desire. And so when Venus sees Mars acting like that, Venus gets stars in their eyes and thinks, ooh, I want some of that, you know. And Mars can feel the same way about Venus, but feeling like, this is someone that I can boss around, or this is someone that, is gonna take what I'm giving, right? So Venus is taking it and Mars is giving it, and yeah. So sexually, it's really good. It's high energy. It's actually compatible, and it's, as much as they're different, they really do complement each other and help each other out, and they work in opposition, because really, Venus and Mars, naturally, this is a good pairing, even in a square, even in an opposition. Like Venus and Mars together, it's almost like you want to have an aspect in your synastry, if it's a romantic synastry specifically, rather than not. Like I would take this over no Venus Mars aspect in the synastry, because it really adds that extra layer of romantic physical compatibility. And I disagree with some astrologers that say that Venus Mars aspects are just sexual. I think there's a lot more to it. I think there's a lot more collaborative effort here. There's a lot more like masculine feminine merging and wholeness, and like inner outer merge. It's deeper to me than just sexual. It's really like we can work well together. So the other thing this aspect can work really well in is a creative project. Okay, so let's talk about a non-sexual relationship. With this aspect, there's a lot of buzz, there's a lot of creativity, there's a lot of working well together. Although, we can kind of get in each other's faces at times. Venus can feel like Mars is a bit bossy or overpowering at times. And Mars can feel like Venus at times is, if they're not comfortable with Mars being the leader, Mars can feel like Venus is a bit annoying at times too. So this isn't an aspect of like comfy, cozy Venus Mars. This is an aspect of like, we're fighting at each other a bit, or we're, this is, it's not a comfortable aspect, but it's a stimulating, attractive aspect. So you have to look at the people. Do you like this kind of relationship, or do you want something more settled and peaceful? Because this is exciting, this is active, this is passionate. It's not always going to be comfy, cozy love. This is wild, exhilarating, energetic, creative love. So yeah, it works really well for all types of creative projects. Like it's actually super common to like, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I do remember seeing this aspect, like if you're in a band together, like as musicians, like this is a really good one for creating music that is passionate and has feeling, so that's another example of this aspect. And I like it. It's fun. It's spunky. It's not for everybody probably. And you want to look at the energy of the opposition, like what signs is this taking place in, because some signs are going to like this more than others, right? And yeah, like I said, as long as we're comfortable with like one person leading at a time, usually Mars, it's going to work really well. And you can really feel like you've met your match and you've found someone that you're sexually compatible with. So thanks for the request, you guys. Let me know in the comments. Do you like this aspect? Have you had it? Does it feel like this? And yeah, let me know. Love you guys. Bye.